So Notre Dame versus the Ohio State University. What did we really learn from last night's game? To jump straight into it, all of the weaknesses that Ohio State had last year, they have fixed and corrected those and then some. To me, Ohio State's two biggest weaknesses last year was their overall team physicality and their ability to play quality defense late in games. And oh, did they play quality defense. Ohio State pretty much pitched a shutout for 3/4 of football versus the number 5 team in the country. But real quick, before we dive deeper into this game breakdown, be sure to leave this video a like and also comment down below. Firstly, if you guys like this series, and secondly, what games you guys want me to cover next, and hit that subscribe button, turn your notifications so you stay on top of all the fire videos that we're dropping on the channel. So obviously there are a lot of good points to point out with Ohio State, so I want to focus a little bit more on Notre Dame, who overall, while yes, they did get shut out on offense for 3 straight quarters, they also pretty much shut out Ohio State for 3 straight quarters as well after their first touchdown. Notre Dame has a very, very solid defense. Notre Dame was constantly able to collapse the pocket around CJ Stroud, forcing him to roll out. Unfortunately, CJ Stroud is more than comfortable making plays off schedule and making plays outside of the pocket, but they did do a great job of sending pressure up the middle, collapsing the pocket on the outsides, and forcing CJ Stroud to have to do something rather than just be able to stand in the pocket and be able to pick you apart like that. On top of that, for the most part, not through and through, but for the most part, Notre Dame's secondary did a good job of blanket covering a lot of Ohio State's wide receivers. Now, did Notre Dame get off easy by pretty much going the whole game without having to face Jackson Smith-Njigba? A little bit, but it's not like Ohio State doesn't have the deepest wide receiver room in the entire country, so they definitely had plenty of wide receiver talent on that field to replace Jackson Smith-Njigba. And all my Notre Dame fans, you might want to click off this video now, because outside of the defense, of the solid defense you guys are playing, that was pretty much the end of what was good with Notre Dame in this game. I mean, Notre Dame's offense was bland, boring, could not get anything going. I mean, all of Notre Dame's points came off of their first field goal, came off of pretty much a missed tackle for like a 50-60 yard gain on the first play of the game. Michael Mayer had a couple of nice catches, which he's a dog. Michael Mayer is an absolute dog. And then you had this miracle catch on the sideline that gained him another 40-50 yard bomb that put him in position to score. After that, Notre Dame wasn't able to really do anything. They had the one fade later on in the game, like I think it was in the 4th quarter, that helped get them kind of in position, but Notre Dame could not move the ball. Notre Dame had 12 first downs in the entire game, and a lot of those came off of penalties, which Ohio State does need to clean that up. They had 7 penalties for 75 yards. But Notre Dame could not do anything. Like I said, they only had 12 first downs, and they were 3 of 13 on 3rd downs. When they needed to convert, they simply could not. I mean, Notre Dame's passing offense was nowhere to be seen with Tyler Buchner. Notre Dame's running back Chris Tyree was probably the team's shining light on offense. Now, don't get me wrong. Notre Dame, it's not like their offense is complete trash. They do definitely need to improve out the quarterback play. They need more than just Michael Mayer to be able to catch a couple passes. But Ohio State, on the defense side of the ball, which we'll get to very shortly, just played a beautiful game. But yeah, overall, Notre Dame's defense is very solid. It's going to be, obviously with Marcus Freeman being there, it's going to be what Notre Dame's going to be best known for, but they have an anemic offense. They need to do something. They could not move the ball to save their life if it didn't come off of a big, just one-shot play where it was like, oh, it was just a missed opportunity. And again, remember, this is a season opening game, so those opportunities are not going to be there as often later on in the season, or off a penalty. Notre Dame needs to be able to move the ball without one of those two things happening. Now getting back focused to Ohio State. I know we got a lot of Ohio State fans here. Ohio State fans, y'all, the biggest thing that y'all had to focus on last year was your defense. And y'all came and put out an absolute show on the defensive side of the ball. Notre Dame could not move the ball to save their life. And it was because Ohio State was flying around everywhere on the field. First and foremost, Tommy Eichenberg and Michael Hall Jr., dogs, absolute dogs. Those two guys were eating the entire game. I mean, Michael Hall Jr. was the one who made the sack that sealed the game. Ohio State was physical. They were constantly able to not only get penetration, but get pressure on the quarterback. They were stopping runs in the backfield. Anytime that they got burned on one play, immediately would fix it. It was not like Notre Dame could keep on going back and gashing them for the same thing. Immediately fixed the problem. Ohio State, the level of physicality that they played with in this game was actually just flat out impressive. For it being a season opening game, yes, you're at home, so you have the home field advantage. But overall, played so physical. They were winning on both sides of the line of scrimmage. On the pass setting side, on the offensive side of the ball, they do need to work on that. Because like I said earlier, Notre Dame was able to get consistent pressure on C.J. Sharpe, forcing him to roll out of the pocket. So they definitely need to work on that. But when it came to that running game, Ohio State was out there putting in work. Travion Henderson and Mayan Williams are both absolute dogs. Both averaged over 6 yards a carry throughout the entire game. With Ohio State, if their offensive line is able to run block the way that they were in this game, and once C.J. Stroud, starts, the rust kind of falls off, the O-line's pass blocking a little bit better, and then obviously with getting Jackson Smith and Jibba back and just having the whole offense just continue to improve, don't worry. Yeah, they might have only put up 21 points. This offense is still that offense that everybody believes could put up 50 points. This offense is absolutely dangerous. I mean, Jackson Smith and Jibba goes down pretty much in the first quarter. He came back a little bit in the game, but they pretty much sat him for the whole game. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. had a quietly good night. He had 4 catches for 56 yards. Emeka Egbuka came out and shined today. For him to be as highly ranked as he was coming out of high school, and for Jackson Smith and Jibba and Marvin Harrison Jr. to take that step, especially last year in the Rose Bowl, Emeka Egbuka came out and said, hey, I'm him as well. 9 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown. Dude was absolutely on fire. And even though Ohio State didn't put up the crazy numbers that we're used to seeing Ohio State's offense put up, they scored in the first quarter, went shut out in the second quarter, and then scored once in the third quarter and then again in the fourth quarter. Ohio State, it wasn't like how Notre Dame was. Notre Dame simply couldn't move the ball. Ohio State was able to move the ball. They were 7 of 13 on third downs, and they had 22 first down conversions. It was just more so they would get to certain points and the offense would just kind of stall out. But at least they were consistently able to move the ball. You can tell it's going to still take a little bit of time for C.J. Stroud to get that connection with that deep ball. But once he gets that deep ball going, he already has the timing throws. C.J. Stroud might be one of the best boundary ball throwers in the country. When I mean like 10-yard outs, like being able to fit that ball past the DB so they're not able to undercut that and leave it to where only his receiver can catch it. C.J. Stroud throws one of the best boundary balls in the entire country. All my Ohio State fans, I wouldn't be worried if after watching this game, but the offensive side of the ball, defense, you guys showed up. Physicality, you guys showed up. If you guys had even a little bit of worry about the offensive side of the ball, I wouldn't be worried at all. Y'all are going to be absolutely fine with the two-headed backfield monster that you got in Travion Henderson and Mayan Williams, with the 50 billion wide receivers that you guys got. I mean, Jackson Smith and Jibba, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Emeka Egbuka, those guys alone, they alone are going to absolutely terrorize all secondaries. And then you got a couple guys that you can rotate in as well who they can also ball out as well. So giving my final analysis on Notre Dame, Notre Dame needs to fix their offensive struggles. Oh my gosh. Notre Dame won't be a top 25 team if they're not able to move the ball more effectively. I mean, literally, Michael Mayer had 5 catches. All the other receivers that caught a pass had 1 catch. Tyler Buckner could not move the ball at all. They couldn't run the ball at all. Now, do you want to? I attribute most of that to how well Ohio State played. But Notre Dame, for them to be the 5th-ranked team in the country, they needed to show a lot more on the offensive side of the ball. Now, defense side of the ball, obviously with Marcus Freeman, again, being there, he's more of a defensive-minded coach. On the defense side of the ball, you guys are going to be okay. You guys are going to be able to at least keep yourselves in a position to win the game by how well that your defense is playing. But Notre Dame, you are going to live and die by how well your offense plays. And my final analysis on Ohio State. Ohio State came and absolutely showed out, and they showed out in the areas that they needed to. Everybody knew that they were going to be one of the best offenses in college football. So for them to put up 21 points in the way that they did, to me, I'm not really shocked about that. They went up against one of the better defenses that they're going to go up against in the country, as well as it's the first opening game of the season. You know, the offense is trying to get the rust out, but the physicality that they showed on both sides of the ball, the run blocking, absolutely manhandling Notre Dame. When it came to the defense side of the ball, they were flying around, making plays all over the field. The defensive side of the ball and the physicality, Ohio State showed out, and I'm excited to see what Ohio State's going to be doing. And Ohio State, to me, they still retain being in that upper echelon top 3 tier where Alabama, Georgia, and obviously Ohio State are. Every other team in the country has to prove that they're in that level, because those 3 teams are clearly the best teams in the country. But I want to hear from y'all. Comment down below. What did you guys think of the Ohio State versus Notre Dame game? Be sure to comment that down below. Be sure to leave this video a like, and also comment down below also any other games you guys want me to cover. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn your notifications. And with that being said, I love and appreciate all y'all. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Ciao.